Yo, what's up? So I could have actually reached out faster. Okay, so let's start with this. I told you we were going to talk about something very interesting today, and that is MCPs, Model Context Protocols. And I'm going to break every single thing down to you so you get to understand what exactly MCP is all about and how you can, walk around it on your own as well. So, I guess I have two things to first point out. The first one I told you about, my background. So if you see any movement or anything, just you can ignore it. Well, the second thing is I realized that the videos I created, that was yesterday and 2 days ago, the screen share was not it was not good. I realized it was when I was recording, my energy mode was on, and that apparently affected the recording and everything. So honestly, that was a drag, but before I got to understand that was it it took time. Anyway, so let's go straight to the point for today. So we're talking about MCPs. We're talking about why MCPs exist and what they actually use it to do. And the interesting thing is that we are going to be using MCPs very well in layer 4 as well. So you can just look forward to it. But I'm going to break it down so it will be very simple to you. So the first thing, MCP was introduced, that was 2024, around November. And I remember the entire hype about it, and it was crazy. Though when Claude started this, or when Anthropic started this, it wasn't something of general knowledge until I believe people started making a lot of videos on it last year. That was 2025, and probably they just got to understand about it. But it's not hard in any way. So as usual, I'm sharing this resource guide with you, so you get to understand every single thing about what we want to talk about. And also, I will just explain everything based on my own understanding and how you can pick it up from where you are. The first thing is that this is how we use tools. We make use of tools, we use APIs and every single thing. Integrations were crazy, but you need to, before MCPs, you could not call specific tools, you could not call specific things, because whatever integration you were doing or you were going to do needed some kind of connection that's probably in most cases might just be one way, and you don't get full access or control to your entire account that you have on probably a particular service. But now with MCPs, we have just one protocol for every AI model that can connect to any of these tools. So these tools that I'm saying can be the tools you use every single day. An example is Google. Now, the first thing I was curious about when I got familiar with MCPs is I actually just typed online, what is MCPs generally, and I'm like, okay, what is this about and everything. And I got to see this platform. Let me just show you. So this platform was the first one. I think that's Composio, yeah. So this platform was the first one. It was very easy to go around it. And the first thing I did was I connected my Gmail, I connected my calendar, I connected Gmail calendar. What else was there? I remember, and my drive, yes, and my Google Drive. So I connected this to this particular service here, Composio. I believe during that time, a lot of services, a lot of companies have not, built their MCP servers, or they've not been able to, build something that connects with this. So just a couple of companies have done this, and Composio had a way to connect these two together. So Composio worked at that moment as a way to manage these servers. We're going to talk about that. So Composio was basically like the middleman. You come here, you connect your Google Drive, you connect your Gmail, you connect other available MCP servers, then you connect it here, and this manages every single thing. And you can take a key from here and insert it to make.com. That was the way I did it then. And back then, make.com didn't have MCP toolboxes. They only had one way, which feels like it was like a chatbot. It was like a chatbot. The way, you can type in things there, it was like a chatbot. It was quite interesting. Unlike now, it's still interesting though. But right now, if you want to do it, it feels like, a lot. Because you have to, do all this. I believe the way you do it now, though, okay, AI agents, there's a way you can do it from here, where you just you create agents, and you can just hold on, and you can add MCP right here. Now this is AI agents. We are going into this very soon, so why not just show you how that works? That's what I'm basically doing right now. So I just want you to see, this is AI agents on make.com. I just want you to see how that works. So when it comes to this, I will not break it down too much, but you can see that if you want to add an MCP, MCP, talking about this now, it's like we're already going into layer 4. We're almost in layer 4 actually. We're just 4 videos or 4 days to layer 4, so why not? So if you want to connect an MCP, you can see how possible it is. Just click create a connection, and it's going to pop up something right here, and you can choose the server. All these are available now by these services, but guess what? None were available when we started this thing. And it was, so the only way we could do it was to use a platform like this. And there's another platform as well. That should be occurred. Yeah, this is. So you could also use this as well. I don't know if these are actually still free. I have no idea if these are still free because I don't use them anymore. But you could try it. Let's see, get a demo and this. The entire site itself looks different from what I interacted with almost a year ago. And well, you can actually check on this and see. It should still be free. You can get started for free. So you can connect your account to it. So we're not doing that though. We're not doing that here on this video. So basically, what that is, you can see MCPs as like USB. This is the analogy I use. So you can see MCP, the USB analogy. Before the USB, every peripheral needed its own ports. What this means is that before USB, you needed to have a specialized port that is created. An example, you could have your phone. Right now USB-C it seems like it's getting like general. Every phone is using that, and even the MacBook is using that as well. Unlike before where we had USB-A, well, that should be A, right? Or USB, yeah, just a bunch of them. So you could see that and when you want to connect like your TV, for example, you need a separate port. It looks different. If you want to connect like the HDMI or all these things. But now, most companies are moving towards USB-C. I don't know if they have done that for TV though, and I don't think they've done that actually. So, but now we have we have a USB, a standardized way to connect any device, any computer, in just the same plug. That means you could have just one plug and connect your PC to your TV. Well, you could use wireless now, so you could even see it as wireless. So MCP just basically is does these connections for us. So you're able to connect your Claude, for example, your LLM, if it is Gemini you use, or if it is ChatGPT you use, you could connect this with any tool that is available out there. And the 3 components of MCPs are the tools. There's the resources, and also the prompts. Now the first one is the tools. I'm going to show you how that looks like here. So tools are functions that the AI can call. So we are assuming that in this case, let's use this for example. In this case, this is our AI, right? And what we want is, to connect it to a particular tool. So you could pick one. You could actually pick one of all these tools. I could also show you from another angle. You can see this, right? You can connect this to Linear, Webflow, various platforms are here, even Tally. You can see. So what is required here now is the API key for it. And once you give it access to this, you are able to use it to call any function that is possible on Tally. An example of a function that might be possible on Tally is you want to create a form, you want to create a new form, or you want to search for forms. There are various tools that are possible when it comes to Tally. You could also do this for platforms like, I believe there is Go level here. So you also need integration token for that as well. Yeah, lead connector HQ. Anyway, I believe this is probably the best way to show you guys. I believe this is the best way to show you how this works. So we go to customize. This is Claude. This is the AI I use. So you can click customize, and this is customize here, and connectors, right? You go to connectors and you can see the available connections I've made via MCPs. Okay, this is still loading. All right, so we have that in now. So you can see the connections I've made here, and I actually took some out and I have this in. So this is how they look like. When you get here, when you click on one, for example, I'm connected to my Miro. So here are the tools you can see I can call. Also the same thing for even make.com. Let's use make.com since you are very familiar with it now. And you can see I can get an app module. These are read-only tools. So when it comes to these tools as well, there are some tools that you see things like this. They are read-only tools. That means it can check. It can check. It can look through it, but you cannot make edits. But write or delete tools, in this case, you can in this case you can actually edit things inside make.com. Currently it's blocked, so I could allow as well. So in this case, you could call various tools here, delete credentials. Most of the things that you do here, when you look at this is not actually an hack to walk around make.com. For what you see here, you can see that the limit you can do is probably you can create a scenario. But when it comes to building something and having it connected very well, I believe even if you can use this to still do a huge chunk of your work, especially if you are someone that is non-technical, I believe that you still need to go to make.com and check a couple of things and probably make some adjustments. But this is quite nice. This is nice. When it comes to Google Drive, you can also see this: read tools, write and delete. There are various tools. So for most services out there that have an MCP server, you can actually you can do a bunch of things using tools. So tools are just basically like your hands. So if I want to do something, if I want to carry something now, all I do is carry the camera and I lift it up, right? Or I need my phone, I pick up my phone, but I need to use my hand, right? Well, in some cases you don't get to use your hand, you can just connect, right? Anyway, you get my point, you get what I'm trying to say. So tools are just functions. They're like things we use. An example, a very bad example I might give here now is where a farmer that goes to the farm, when he wants to make ridges, he knows the kind of tools he needs to use to make ridges. So, or when it comes to harvesting of corn, he knows the kind of tools he gets to use to harvest corn. He won't use tools that are meant for digging to harvest the corn, right? So basically, this farmer, in this case, you are the farmer, but you are a builder and you need tools to work for you. So this is what these tools are basically. So the next one here that we have, in this case, you can see the tools for this is Notion. You can search database, basically the same thing you can do when you are working on make.com, you are creating a new scenario, you are adding a new module. These are the tools that you are calling again. But this time around, you don't need to drag them. All you need to just tell your AI this is what you want to build, or this is what you want to edit, or this is what you want to update or delete, and it's going to do that for you. These are your tools. So the next one are the resources. Now these resources are data sources that the AI can read and gain context. So you can see it as something that an AI can look at before deciding on what to do. An example that I can make use of is also right here. You can see what we have here. This is like our knowledge. So the AI in this case can look at our knowledge and look at we need something a bit structured. I can just say we need something structured, because if you are running on, remember what I started with in this entire series, which is about, that is probabilistic and deterministic. When it comes to building things, when it comes to anything that you want, probably for your business, for your work, or anything, or you are building for a business, you need to always remember that you need to be as deterministic as possible. Though you have AI as the brain, it has the knowledge. This knowledge is based on experience. An example is an organization, a startup, or a company that wants to work on probably daily operations would not tell an AI, like probably you still do. Probably, I mean, you might tell an AI in the case that you say your AI should help you research for this and do this. It's just doing it randomly. But most of these companies that they do daily operations will tell an AI to use an existing tool based on the knowledge they've given it. They've told it, whenever you want to do this, you need to You need to call this tool. If you want to make an update to a client status, you need to call the Notion search database tool. Then you take the update data item tool. In these cases, you've added all your knowledge here. The AI or your LLM, whichever way you are using to have access to this, probably through here or even through Claude, probably from your chat, directly from your chat, you can you've given it enough context about what your business is all about, or what that particular topic is all about. So from that knowledge, it will know which tool to call at the right time, and while it should call this tool, what this tool does whenever it calls it. So that is the resources that you have here. Your resources is just basically in this case, whenever you want let's see. So whenever you want to call on to this, I can say I'm more or less basically, putting prompt and resources into one. But these are like basically broken down into two. You have you have an instruction you've given it, and the AI also knows what function each tool performs. So it knows that at this time, the search database tool, all it does is to search, right? The example I gave here now, I said a Notion database, in brackets, reads all leads. It knows what to do. A file system directory reads documents. So this AI uses resources to understand the state before using tools to change the state. It understands what is already in place before even doing it. So an example is that whenever you want to update a database item, for example, it uses the search database to look through everything and knows which one, probably picking from a unique identifier to the exact person you want to update their records or their details, is going to understand that the current state, probably the current status, is that this person is not a qualified lead, and it qualifies them. It changes it to qualify them based on what your input is. So the prompt, though less commonly used, because they already pre-built prompt templates that the server already provides as well. So anytime you are working with most of these platforms I have lined up here, you can look through here, and you can look through Claude as well. It's more or less the same thing. All these servers, this is Make server, Active Campaign server, Happify server, Asana, Canva. All these servers, they have pre-built prompts that they already have, that they know that this is what it's going to do. This is what this tool that you're trying to call is going to do. So the same thing works here as well. It knows what this is actually going to do, every single one of it. So they've built this inside as well. And it's also something where you can also have your own prompt based on what your business or your organization is all about. So you can also have that. This is the MCP architecture that we have here. The one I showed you just now, this is from Claude, right? Claude AI, that's the one I showed you. So Claude itself, what is the MCP host and the MCP server as well. So you can see wherever you are talking, wherever you are having a conversation or you are requesting whatever, is your host. In this case, your Claude AI, your Claude Code, or your custom app, I can also call what make.com as well. So we are more or less building these tools here, right? And we have what also a place where make.com manages every single one of these server as well, which is here. So the same thing what is also here. That is what we have here. So it manages every single one of them, and it connects to the Notion server itself, which is what from outside. But you can see every single thing we have here in the box is what I can say that is what make.com takes control of, and also that's what Claude takes control of, and that's also what make.com takes control of, while the server is connecting to are the different servers. An example of what we have here is you can see Sentry, Linear, Square. These are what their servers. They have their own servers that is connected to outside it. So same thing what that is also here as well. Miro server, Google Drive server, GitHub as well, and yeah, make.com, every single one. You could also connect more. An example is what you could click here, browse connectors, and you could pick a bunch of MCPs from here. So these are what I mean. You can actually find a tool that you need for whatever you are trying to build. Another thing is that there are some cases that you don't find what you are looking for. So though I had to clear them because I needed to, make a tutorial on this. So, but if you need a custom connector, all you need to do is here add the name, the remote MCP server URL, and authentications. If you do need to add this, you guys do remember. You do remember when I explained about OAuth client ID, OAuth client secret, and I remember I used Google's services as example. I even used Google Drive as example, though there's already pre-made connections here, so you don't need to go too far here. All you need to do is just connect easily, and it connects with your Google Drive account. So I mean, understanding MCPs is just as simple as this. So when it comes to the host, I already explained to you. You can see the AI application you interact with. It can be Claude, which is here, and also we could also have access to it using make.com. But we obviously need an AI right inside that manages it, and in this case we have make AI agent here. So we're coming to AI agents, and very soon. So the client is built into the host and manages the connections to multiple MCP servers simultaneously. That's what I already explained via here, and also what I mean here as well. So, and as for the servers, each services, Notion, Google Drive, Miro, and every single one of them like that. So now the difference between MCP and make.com's HTTP module, I call them the two big dogs. So who decides what to call? When it comes to the HTTP module on make.com, you are the one, because you are the builder. Now you need to see it as this way. Your HTTP module doesn't have a thinking, doesn't have a brain. So you have to take the role of the brain. You have to be the one to know what to call, to know which URL to pass through it. You understand now? You know every single thing there. And in most cases, it could be just a bunch of connections that you've made. I mean, it's more or less the same as what MCP servers do. But in this case, you have to be the one to make the call. But when it comes to MCP tools, the AI, based on your goals, is going to make the call. An example here is, if I'm chatting with this, an example is this. If I'm chatting with Claude, for example, you could see that in that case, anything I tell this to do, it knows which tool. I already made the connection to this tool. Sometimes it could even recommend the tools to make a connection to. And that gives me, I don't have to keep thinking, though I just ask it which tool should I connect, should I give you access to, which will make us, do this work faster, and it recommends one to me, and works done, basically. So when it comes to that, the AI has to make the decision itself. Paths through the workflow is predefined and is fixed. That means, like the scenarios that we've been building using HTTP modules all this while, let's discard these changes. Every single thing that we've been building is fixed. They have just one line, or probably branches, routers, and the rest. We've built all of these things. We know what is going to happen. We know how it's going to get there already. So back here, basically, we could just we just call it directly from so when it comes to the path through the workflow, your HTTP module works the same line, like obviously the same way it does. Each module, after the HTTP module, to call something else like that. But when it comes to the MCP tools, the AI will have to think, goes through a different path. If that doesn't work, it's going to try another tool, or try to call another tool or another function, basically. So when it comes to configuration, you have to map every single one of them. You know what you do every single time when you build an automation. The normal thing is you have to map the fields, you have to do this. But the AI just uses the tool descriptions to do each of them. You don't need to map anything. All you need to do from the beginning is just to speak, tell you what you want to do. So it's best for repeating workflows. Yes, true. This one is best for open-ended, judgment-required tasks, which in this case, you could see what we've been building. Our AI automations are like probably a miniature version of an AI agent. However, it's just that our AI automations, most of the cases when we had an AI into our automations, only has one particular tool, which is the next tool to call. But this one could call multiple tools. You saw Make.com's AI agent that I displayed the other time. You could connect multiple tools to it: Notion, Asana, Linear, Airtable. So it knows which one has the information and what you are trying to do. It knows which one has it. And the other one is predictability. When it comes to Make.com's HTTP module, obviously when it comes to AI automations generally, we can start calling it this as well. You could also see it as that you could predict everything. But when it comes to MCP tools and using it with LLMs or AI tools, you can just see that it can actually surprise you. It's adaptive. That means it can be better. You could also see the other way. It could be worse. But like in a case where you don't fully know how to handle every single step, this could be better. This could be better for you. Reliability is excellent because you know what you built. Obviously is predictable. So you know that what you built is obviously the outcome is what you will get. But for this, it's good and it's improving. That means it can be excellent as well. So the example here is the 8 a.m. digest that we do, the weekly digest that we get every Monday, right? What we built. While this one, the example is in quotes now: identify and engage the leads most likely to convert. Now, in this case, what is the AI going to do? It's going to start reading the temperature or the tone of the lead, or it takes in a lot of things. It considers a lot of things. That was why we mentioned one thing: judgment required taxes. So it's possible for it to consider a couple of things, probably their response, the way they ask their questions. When it comes to a lead now, and it uses it to bring up a response that you give to this person, or it gives, and you look through the response and see if you should really send that. So MCPs are basically complementary. They're not competing for anything. MCPs can be used inside Make.com, inside LLMs, inside all these your famous AI platforms. And there's an ecosystem around MCPs. And everything I put together here is based on what I got, the information I got right from GitHub. So you could access all these things here. You could access some of it right from here as well. we'll access everything from here to just what, highlight this and what, open in a new tab. So everything you see here, these are major MCP servers. There are other ones. I mean, we saw a couple of other ones like Go High Level. I did not include that here. So you can see that but based on what we've been building, and based on what we've been seeing, and the things we'll also be doing in the future, you could see all this. So these are popular servers that are available. We should be using almost everything, if not everything, very soon in some of the things we're going to be building. So you guys can just so you can just be ready. What you see here is what you're going to get familiar with. So once again, as I've always said from the beginning, you don't need to try to put in too much information right in your head. Just know we're going to handle every single one of them. So if you, in cases also, you can also build your own MCP server. I stated here that any API from layer 3 can become an MCP server. Paystack API, the abstract email validation, the Telegram bot API, all this can actually be wrapped into an MCP server. And if you use Claude, it can actually call them based on the goal or whatever you are trying to build. You also saw that in Claude, there are actually ways I can add custom connectors to it. So you could see that the possibility is wide. It's actually huge that you could create your own servers as well. So the other thing now is, as we learned about MCP, how is this going to look like? What do we need this for layer 4? Layer 4 is about AI agents. So when it comes to this, the layer 4 of this course is about AI agents, and the systems that basically take autonomous multi-step action towards a goal. We've seen the preview. I've shown you guys how make.com's AI agent looks like, and it's going to be fun, and it's also easy too. All these things are just things that you just have to understand visually. Just see this and you're like, okay, so this is AI agent, right? Yes, that is it, obviously. So without MCPs, agents can only reason within their context windows and perform no external action. What it means here is that you can see AI agents. So there are different types of AI agents based on how I see it. I call some high-level AI agents, and I call some just AI agents, or you can call them just AI agents as well, or just low-level, whichever way you see it. Why I actually split this into two is because, though I'm going to explain it better, because I figured out that there are some that are just being wrapped into something, calling tools as well, while I see some as a different type of AI agent that is not like the other category. I'll go deeper into this in layer 4. Basically, you can see the ones without MCP, like whenever you prompt. Now, an example, whenever you prompt if you remember how we were doing this prompting in layer 1, between day 1 to day 10, you could remember we were able to give this AI, these LLMs, knowledge. We gave it knowledge, we gave it constraints, we gave it, something, a role it should act as. Now, we didn't give it access to our Gmail to send emails for us. We only told it, whenever we get a response like this, analyze this response and give us what we could send back, right? In this case, you could have, with MCPs now, you could have it analyze it, and it has a tool to send it by itself. Very easy. Now it makes taking action on your own end, nothing. You don't have to do anything in that case. So far, what you've built, the prompt you've used is strong, and you have given it a direction, and in many cases you could also give it constraint as well. I believe you could give it constraint because you want to still be able to have a human in between so that you could review some of his work. So in this case, you could because most of the tools that you could connect to it as well, can also have a form of constraint themselves. What I mean is that you could connect tools right outside using Claude, for example. You could connect tools like Notion and the rest, right? It is possible. But while you do that, it's possible for it to just go through like that. That is fine in most cases. But there are some cases where you want to review this thing. So if you use a structured tool, like having you to build you build a tool on make.com, like our lead track or any of our other apps that we'll be working on all this while, all these are actually tools. These are tools. So if you want to give your AI agents, your AI, the LLM itself, inside make.com, you want to give it access to these things. It should be the one to determine when to do this, when to switch to status, when to do this by itself. You can put the constraints in the tools you've built already. So these tools already have those constraints. That means even if your AI agents have access to it, there's still a limit to what it can do based on the tools you have given it. So in cases like this, you can also with that. So the combination of every single one of this here creates an AI system that can take meaningful autonomous actions in the real world. That is basically what I've been trying to put together all this while, which is that in layer 4 now, plus layer 3, plus layer 2, plus layer 1, we could do something that is not just going to take decisions by itself, but also still have constraints. It also takes decisions like an human that thinks, that has hands, that has tools, that is able to go to Notion, and is also of the repercussion behind some of his decisions as well. You could see it this way. So today's task, basically what you can do to just understand what I've talked about, you can go to Claude and check the MCP tools I mentioned. So you can check them, connect Notion, connect your Google Drive. I mean, these are cool, right? Just connect it to it, and you could even you could bring details from your Notion, bring it into Claude. You have access to it, and yeah, it's as simple as that. Each connection is very easy, and you could also explore the one I showed you on make.com. And lastly, identify the servers, the available MCP servers. So pick 3 that is going to help your business as well. Remember, all these things we've been building, you could offer it to a client or an agency or a founder or a business owner, but you could also do it for yourself, because this is the foundation for you to build a business for yourself, which you would also offer as services to others as well. So for each of the MCP servers that you pick, write one sentence describing what you want your AI agent to do with that server, probably every single day or every single time, that even make.com scenario could not do on its own. That means you've built something on make.com, you build these scenarios we've been working on, these AI automations, but you do believe that there are some things also that it cannot do. So because of that, you use Claude AI. We're already going into Claude, little by little now, and though we'll still work on make.com little by little, we are leaving the constraint of having to just use automation platforms or automation tools like anything, make.com and the rest like that. So I believe that this is something good, and I believe it's a new change as well, because it means that you are actually a guru now. You are a goat. You are the goat. You are the goat. And all these days where you had to focus on building, watching the videos, building, doing the same thing, duplicating, asking questions, are already paying off. They have been paying off for since day 10. I just believe that now you can see that you start thinking outside the box as well, because there's a limit to how much you can do by just building AI automations. You can have AI itself, the LLM, you can chat with it anytime at your own convenience. Just pick up your phone, chat with it. It has access to your database. It does that for you instead. And I will also show you how to monetize this as well. A little bit, we're going a little bit into that as well, where you can monetize doing this for businesses. So you could build some things and offer it as services, as products or services to businesses for them to have something like this on their own. There are many businesses out there. There are many people that have not connected any tool with their AI, with their most popular AI or the one they use, but you can actually be the one to help them around all this, and I believe you could make a huge ton of money from here as well. So anyway, post your 3 picks and use cases in the community group, and we'll talk from there. So as usual, if you love this video, let me know. Just drop a comment, ask me any question. If you ask me any question that requires me making a video, I would actually do that. I will gladly do that because it means that you are following. So all this while, if you have not even asked a question all this while, you should actually start asking questions, because in this case, it makes me not only know that you are following, but I am aware that you are also building as well. So, and that every single time that we spent together is not a waste. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your questions. All right, enjoy. Peace.